4.3 billion people live across this vast continent called Asia. And we are telling their story. On this edition, Living and Dying in Isolation. We look at the troubling trends among South Korea's aging population. Making babies for money. The emotional job of being a surrogate mother in India. And the key to long life. We go to a village in China where people say they know the secret to longevity. I'm Shane Hom, and this is Assignment Asia. Welcome to the program. People are living longer these days in South Korea, but there's an entire generation that's being forgotten. The elderly. Many of them are poor and have no family. Sometimes, sadly, these older folks are living in isolation, and many die alone. I traveled around Seoul to investigate this issue and to see firsthand just how big this problem is. It's a hot and sunny day. But inside this apartment complex in Seoul's West End, the conditions aren't so bright. On the living room floor is a silhouette of where the home's lone resident, a man in his 60s, died. The imprint of his body is left deep in the blankets. A notepad with lyrics rests on the floor. The title of the song, Regret. The calendar on the wall is nearly a year behind. Empty bottles of alcohol are sprawled about. Prescription medication indicates that the man may have had health problems. Kim Gi-sup works for a biohazard cleaning company. He's tasked with erasing traces of death from the site.
First, we go in and throw away all the personal belongings. Then we bring in the water hoses to clean the bathrooms, kitchen, and the floors. The last step is to remove the odor from the house.
Kim guesses the man's body lay here, rotting for nearly a month. The humid weather accelerated decomposition. He was found only when neighbors reported a nauseating stench in the hallway. That's when management pried into the apartment and made the gruesome discovery.
We get calls from local district ward offices or community centers asking for help to hold funerals for these people. This is purely volunteer work for us with no profit. It's work that both sides are reluctant to take part in.
South Korea's population is quickly aging. The country has one of the lowest birth rates in the world, meaning fewer people to support the elderly. Government statistics show that 1.2 million elderly South Koreans, or about 1/5 of the senior population, live and oftentimes die alone. In a country where Confucian customs dictate filial piety to one's parents, the trend is worrisome.
At present day, financial problems, divorce, and the increasing number of families living far apart are the main reasons people are dying lonely with no one around.
South Korean pop star Psy put Seoul on the map with his hit song Gangnam Style about the city's affluent neighborhood. Juxtaposed to the glitzy area is one of the city's poorest enclaves. Guryong Village is a gathering of dilapidated houses made of plywood and sheet metal. About 2,000 residents live here. Most are elderly, including 79-year-old Kim Bun-hong.
오래됐어요.
I've lived here for a long time now. I've lived here now 9 years, around 8 or 9 years. To me, it doesn't matter if I have family or not. I live with the other residents of this village.
The scene here paints a darker side to South Korea's rapid economic development. Many credit the country's elderly generation with rebuilding a nation that was torn into rubble during the Korean War. That generation knew only of sacrifice, working endless hours, supporting their children's futures, expecting to reap the benefits of these investments in their golden years, only to be neglected and meet their fate in this type of environment. Despite the shoddy living conditions, Kim is optimistic. She says it's hope that drives her. She says she is one of the lucky ones who has lived here long enough to have a garden to tend to.
I'm satisfied with the way that I live. Nobody tells me where to come and go. I eat, sleep, walk around, return home, and that's it. What more could I ask for?
Kim also tells me that death is a common occurrence in the village. She says just a month before, one of her neighbors passed away. To tackle the growing number of senior citizens dying alone, local agencies and nonprofit groups closely monitor people in need. Volunteers regularly make phone calls to seniors living alone. They make weekly visits providing food and helping with menial tasks, like changing a light bulb or fixing a leaky faucet. But material support is not what these seniors need, says the head of this volunteer group.
The most important thing is emotional support. Some seniors here have welfare workers visit once or twice, but some are completely isolated. What these grandmothers and grandfathers want is not material help, but emotional assistance. They want to know that when they are sick and facing death, that someone will protect them and take them to the hospital.
According to government estimates, nearly a quarter of South Korea's entire population will be elderly by the year 2030. The South Korean government has taken some measures to help provide for seniors. But the country is still one of the lowest in welfare spending among developed countries. That's why local governments are stepping up with measures of their own. This home, located about an hour's drive south of Seoul, is a refuge for seniors who live alone. Daily programs help pass the time. On the schedule today is yoga class.
It was difficult when I live alone, but it's better now that I come here. They feed you, we can earn some money. It's better than being at home.
Some also perform nominal paying jobs for local businesses. On this day, the women package holiday cards. Some have trouble working with their hands, but they find the experience rewarding. The facility is different from other senior citizen centers. Residents must meet specific requirements. For instance, everyone here doesn't qualify for government assistance because on paper they have family who can support them. But once in, the response is overwhelmingly positive.
When I lived outside, I didn't have anyone to talk to. I had no friends, but ever since I came here, I've become more outgoing.
These seniors are the lucky ones. But so many others are not. Kim finishes up discarding the personal items of the man who lived here last. It's a grim job, but he says somebody has to do it. Even for professionals like him, though, the work is a little disturbing.
There are a lot of companies that do this type of work, and there is a lot of work to go around. When I come to this new type of scene, I become self-possessed. In a way, I feel like I'm seeing my own future. The work is self-possessing.
Once the work is complete, it's on to the next house. And unless something is done to help isolated seniors, the problem will continue to be swept under the rug. The elderly in South Korea are the poorest in their age group among all the countries in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. That's according to reports by the Korea Labor Institute and the OECD, which has 34 member countries. Still to come on Assignment Asia. Giving life for money. How women in India are turning to surrogacy to support their own families.
Meet China's decision makers and thought leaders. See them in action, hear their views, debate their policies. Meet China's leaders with me. I'm Robert Lawrence Kuhn.
People often turn to unusual ways to make an extra income to support the family. In India, a trend is on the rise of women becoming surrogate mothers. They carry a baby for people who can't have their own children. But for these surrogate mothers, even though the money is good, the job is tough and emotional. Ravinder Bawa traveled to Anand, India, where she met the women who are making sacrifices to give life to others.
It's the day before delivery. Payal is pregnant with a baby girl. And for health reasons, doctors have decided she needs to have a cesarean section.
डर नहीं लगता है, पर ऐसा लगता है कि अब जल्दी से हो जाए तो अच्छा है। मेरे बहुत दुख है।
Payal's husband Jayesh and their 13-year-old son have come to visit from their hometown, about 70 kilometers away. Jayesh has brought Payal her favorite dishes from home. This will be Payal's third time giving birth, but like her second, this is the child that she won't get to keep. Payal is a surrogate who's lent her womb and the last 9 months of her life to nurture a baby for a couple from the UK. Her husband Jayesh came up with the idea for her to do this 4 years back. But it's no act of charity. In exchange, Payal will receive a large sum of cash.
बहुत विरोध किया था, बोले बच्चे की मुझे माया हो जाएगी, 9 महीने में अपने पेट में रखूँगी, तो उसका जो फीलिंग है अंदर से जो ये है वो है। तो फिर जो पीयूष भाई हैं, मैं हूँ और दूसरी जो सरोगेट्स हैं, उन्होंने ये बताया उसको कि नहीं नहीं ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है।
Struggling to survive and living well below the poverty line, an initially reluctant Payal eventually agreed. Jayesh brought us back to their hometown of Vanch to show us what Payal's decision meant for the family.
नया घर जब मैंने बनाया तो सबसे पहले ये कमरा बनाया था मैंने और इसी में सबसे पहले रहना चालू किया मैंने। उसके बाद बगल वाला बनाया।
She was paid $8,000 for giving birth to twins in 2011 and used the money to build a house.
ये जो पाइप है ना, ये पाइप, वो पाइप, वहाँ से ऐसे पाली करके तो ये उठला लेवल कर लेना।
So to earn more money, Payal has spent the past 8 months away from her family, living in this hostel for surrogates 70 kilometers away in Anand.
मैं बहुत खुश होगी। मेरा जो सपना है वही पूरा करेगा। मैं तो पढ़े लिखी हूँ नहीं, मैं छोटी थी तब मेरे को ऐसा लगता मैं पढ़ के ऐसी बनूंगी, तो मेरा सपना पूरा नहीं हो। मेरे दादा ने मेरे को पढ़ने ही नहीं दिया, इसलिए वो मेरा सपना वो पूरा करेगा।
Such dreams have motivated many poor women in India to become surrogates. There are 65 of them in this hostel where, according to their contracts, they must live for the duration of their pregnancies. Similar clinics are popping up all over India. One government body estimates there are about 1,400 registered and unregistered clinics across the country. They cater to both Indian nationals and foreigners who've come to India because the costs are significantly cheaper. $27,000 for a woman to carry and give birth to a baby here, half of what it would cost in Britain. Doctors, though, deny the practice is commercially driven. The women who rent their wombs think that the situation is all win-win for them and the couples, but if one digs deeper, one finds that the journey is both emotionally and physically tough for them. They do not want to talk about it as the money involved in it is very important for them, and in the whole process, they have no bargaining power. We spent a day in the surrogate hostel to get an idea of what it means to be one. Women must live here for the duration of their pregnancies. Doctors and staff pay special attention to their nutrition, making sure they are fed a well-balanced diet. The women also are taught certain practical skills such as sewing and how to do their hair and makeup to keep them in positive spirits. There's an emphasis on their emotional and psychological health to ensure the babies they carry are born healthy. The main goal of the clinic, after all, is to produce good results.
They're very nice women, but to handle so many of them, we have a big team who looks into right from their hygiene to food to their holistic medicine like yoga classes, then their vocational courses, etc., keeping them occupied.
But life here can be lonely. Some surrogates become depressed because they are away from their families for so long. The only way to stay in touch is on the phone.
अभी 13 साल का था, पहले दफ़ा आई तो 10 साल का था, तो इसको पढ़ाई सब करने का था। इसका पापा ड्यूटी करते थे, तो सब जगह पहुँच नहीं बोलते थे, तो एक पत्थर रख के मैं इधर रही थी।
150 kilometers from Anand in the town of Unja, we met one family that is reaping the rewards of surrogacy. 3-year-old Fiona was born to a surrogate mother and is the apple of her parents' eye.
2 साल तो शादी के बाद ट्राई किया हमने कि चलो कुछ बच्चे का प्लानिंग करते हैं। फिर मैंने 2-3 डॉक्टर को बताया, तो डॉक्टर बोल रही थी कि आप कभी माँ नहीं बन सकते।
The number of infertile couples are increasing. We tried to speak to some of the couples here at the clinic, but they refused to be filmed. But they did speak to us off camera where they talked about the fact that there is social stigma which is attached to their situation. There is a fear of being ostracized from families. There is a fear of being judged, and also the whole legal scenario where they are unable to take back their children easily to their own countries from where they come because the passport mechanism is not in place. So everybody spoke about the fact that there should be a global regulation because surrogacy, if that is the solution for infertility in the future, there has to be a global mechanism in place which will help not just the surrogate mothers but also the couples. Here at the clinic, a new journey begins for this little one. She's the baby Payal was carrying, delivered just moments ago.
Baby is quite all right, doing quite well for her gestation and for her age. We are keeping the baby. We'll observe in the NICU. Baby is born 1 month before time, around 35 and 36 weeks of gestation. So we'll wait till the parents come.
Payal lies unconscious after the cesarean. Like most surrogates, she won't be able to see the baby when she wakes up. But soon, she'll go home to be with her own son. What may sound like easy money certainly doesn't come easy. But for many women here, it's the only way they can see to secure their family's future. For Assignment Asia, I'm Ravinder Baba in Anand, India.
India is now one of the top places people turn to for surrogates in the world. But according to reports, some of it is dangerously unregulated and the laws still need to be made clearer. This is Assignment Asia. Coming up next, we travel to the village in China where the locals say they have the key to long life.
Culture Express. See the world in color.
We reported earlier in the program that people are living longer in South Korea. It's an overall trend among developed countries today. But what if you were sick or dying and told there was a place you could go to extend your life? Well, in a remote part of China, villagers say they have found the key to longevity. Yin Hong traveled to Bama County in southern China to investigate.
Subtropical winds cast a hot and humid spell over this town in southwest China. And with the wind comes the myth that this place is blessed with magical healing powers. This is Bama County. Local population about 270,000. What makes this place stand out is that 82 people here claim to be over the age of 100, much higher than the average worldwide. Huang Magan is one of them. Another is Yang Meiju. And people from all across China are keen to unlock the Bama secrets to longevity. Every year, thousands flock here in search of the key to good health and a long life. Today, about 200,000 so-called health migrants are living here, almost the same number as the local population. Some for the short term, others permanently.
在北京住院的时候，这些朋友大家一起讨论嘛，就说爸妈这个地方挺不错的。
38-year-old Tang Yaling says she came to Bama after she was diagnosed with cervical cancer.
这个是我看到吗？
Local associations claim 2/3 of the so-called health migrants who have come here have cancer or are in remission.
但是当时医生告诉她说，我最多还能活3年。然后我老公特别伤心，他说：“你想想别的办法吧，看还有没有什么方法可以治疗，让你多活几年。”
Tang Yaling feels strongly about the healing powers of Bama County. She says she saw the evidence firsthand on the day she arrived.
最严重的时候，头发掉光了，然后也长得特别胖，胖乎乎的。那时候因为那个放化疗，然后走个40-50米吧，就走不了了。我到这里来只待了1天1个晚上，在家里疼了几个月的毛病，1个晚上就不疼了。
Well, many people say that the key for good health and long life here in the Bama County is in the water. And certainly the most frequently mentioned word when you talk to migrants and locals, they're coming here and looking for a cure. And it's said that the water here is very clean and rich in minerals, and especially the alkaline in it is very good for people's immune system. For many, the daily routine includes a visit to the Panyang River, where they swim, bathe and drink the water in its pure, unfiltered form. They also spend time at the nearby Baimor Cave. Tests have shown that the air here has a high concentration of negative oxygen ions, higher than in most Chinese cities. Negative oxygen ions increase oxygen to the brain and energize the body. The World Health Organization says the recommended level for good air are between 1,000 and 15,000 negative oxygen ions. Here at the cave, levels can reach up to 20,000. So is Barma's healing power real or just wishful thinking?
我们认为巴马确实它是一个人类居住最好居住的地方，在这里可能会使你的健康会提高你的健康指标。但是呢，在这里呢，不是说你带着很多疾病到这里来就消失了，没了，那就错了，那你就错了。
On any given day, crowds gather to sing and dance in the clean air, which they say makes them feel good.
我的房东，还有我们一起这个养生的朋友。 还有市场上卖菜的人，凡是认识我的人，每一个见我都说一句话：“哎，你比原来真好多了，而且我的这个脸颊这个部位、鼻子这个部位有了一份红晕。”
4 years ago, 58-year-old Cui Xuedong had liver cancer. After an operation at one of the best hospitals in Beijing, he came to Barma. He insists that if he didn't come, his cancer would have returned. Encouraged by his improving health, he moved his entire family here and even started an NGO to help other medical tourists. He says being with people who are going through a similar experience makes life a bit easier. More and more people are coming to Barma. From 2011 to 2012, there was a 25% jump in the number of health migrants. Investment companies are building more apartments to house them, and there's an influx of shops selling products that promise long life. Chen Jingchao has devoted most of his career researching the health phenomenon of Barma. He says even though people believe drinking from the Panyang River is like taking medicine, it's unhealthy to drink the untreated water. He also suggests the number of cancer patients here is inflated to attract more visitors, and there are dozens, not thousands. That gives rise to skepticism about Barma's true powers. Even Cui Xuedong admits Barma can't cure everyone. 2 of his cancer patient friends died here. Chen Jingzhao says it really comes down to multiple factors: geography, climate, social customs, lifestyle, diet and genetics. And a longer life can't be promised if there's only improvement in one of those factors. For the centenarians who live here, there's no big secret to tell. Yang Meiju says she only went to Baimor Cave once, a long time ago. The only thing she points to is her diet, which contained very little meat.
去采肉去了，去有肉去啊，有的没得去了。喜欢吃啊，吃瓜苗。
蔬菜还是肉最爱吃的？
还有吃青菜。
喜欢吃肉吗？
肉的少吃了。
Whether or not there's evidence of Barma's ability to heal is irrelevant to many people who live here. With or without proof, they're convinced that there's something about this place that brings them good health. For Assignment Asia, I'm Ying Hang in Barma County, Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, China.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week. Don't forget, you can watch this and all our stories on our website, www.assignment-asia.com. You can also share your thoughts and contribute story ideas for future shows by contacting us on social media. I'm Shane Hom. Thanks for watching and join us again on Assignment Asia.